We're going to go to item number 10. I'm going to read the item, then I have some questions for the attorney. Consideration of an action on a request to establish a mandatory drug and alcohol testing program and policy for the mayor and city council members. Take action as necessary. I got a question, Grady.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I have not discussed this. We did not discuss this on the phone or anything recent or anything.
No, sir.
All right.
I'll be
So
just as surprised as everybody.
I just want to caveat, just to let folks know that. Let's say somebody takes a test, any test, drug or alcohol test, and they fail it. Let's say one of the council members, mayor or council members, they take the test and they fail it. They take it again and they fail it, and they take it again and they fail. They fail it 10 times. Okay, what of it? Can they be removed from office?
No.
All right. So no provision to remove them. Do you know any provision in state law that would remove them for failing a test?
No. The only way you can remove a council member is someone has to file a lawsuit.
All right.
They're not qualified.
Do you know anything any provision in the state charter?
No.
That provides for that?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. John, is the mayor and city council considered employees?
No, sir. You are.
Do we receive any benefits? Do we receive any?
Other than your compensation per the city charter, that's it.
All right. So I guess my question is, what is the point? Is it attention? Okay. Councilor Davila, you put this item on the agenda. The item has already been voted down once, but you have requested it again. We will give you the benefit. Well, it
was voted down now and I called a point of order, and it was not done correctly. So I brought this up because I felt it needed to be addressed. You're right, and I know this. A council member cannot be removed, and this is not about that. I just feel that we, as the policymakers of the city, should be held to the same standards as the employees. That we should not attend to city business or come to meetings and be under influence of any drugs or alcohol. And all I'm trying to do is set up a policy, even for candidates. I mean, we do background checks, but we don't ever test them, see if they're on narcotics, drugs. I would just think that it was not a mandatory whenever someone says you do, it's a random. It would come up when, just like an employee. If it comes up, it's our turn. We take a test, and council would enforce it. I know you can't be removed. Council can set policy and to enforce it, and just like we did with the decorum policy. And at the most you could do is censure a council member for doing it. And I would hope if that happened, then they would not do it again. And that's the point of this item. That's why I brought it up.
Well, I agree that no council, the mayor or the council, no one should come to these meetings intoxicated. I mean, I don't think that that we have a problem with that. Okay?
Well, we disagree.
We can respectfully disagree, and we can do it civilly. I don't think it's a relevant discussion since the attorney since I don't see it as a problem. We don't.
Well, you're one of 7.
I understand.
This is for us to discuss, not for you to tell us that it's not going to happen because you don't like it.
We're going to have a discussion.
This is something for us to talk about.
We will. And I feel that it's irrelevant because there's no provision in the law that would provide for any sanction.
Well, we set the policy. We can put that in there.
You can't on your own, and we can't, as a group, remove anyone from office for.
And we already discussed that several times. This is not about removing anybody. This is about setting a policy where we make sure that no one comes up here under the influence of any alcohol or drug.
I don't believe that's occurred, but we'll go through the line and see what the group thinks. Richard, we'll begin with you.
I'm totally against this. It's not enforceable. There's nothing, we're not on payroll. If Isaac is in favor of this, I think he should pay for it. I do not expect citizens to pay for this at all. And he should deposit some money with the city, and that's how it should be paid for. That's the only way I'd be in favor of it.
Jacob?
When I initially made the motion to vote down this item, at the time I gave an explanation that it was out of scope and unenforceable, and those things still stand true today. It's not enforceable because, as we've established very well here this evening, is that you cannot remove a council member even if they fail the test. Furthermore, you cannot compel a council member to take a test because they are not an employee, so you can't fire them like you would an employee. We're not on the insurance. We're not receiving city benefits, so there is no vested interest in the city to make sure that we're not on drugs. Mostly it's done as a pragmatic thing for companies to lower their insurance premiums, not so much because companies are interested in the fact whether somebody's on drugs or not. Those reasons still stand true today, and I have not seen any compelling evidence either here or at any other time to suggest that anybody here is under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or any other substance. So absent any evidence, I do not see why this should proceed forward.
Thank you, Jacob. Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, the part that scares me more than anything about it is who becomes the arbiter. You know, who's the judge that judges whether I need to be held under a breathalyzer or screened for a drug test. And I think with the council, the way it flows in and flows out, with one side doesn't like you, all of a sudden they're testing you for whatever reasons, and that calls a lot of things into question. I'm against it. Just on the pure fact that if I am that type of person that's abusing substance, I think the voter can vote me out, and that would be the end of me. So I'm against it.
Well said, Counselor. Lisa?
As everyone probably knows, I am a county employee, and if something happens, and all of these drug and alcohol testing issues tend to occur after an accident. I cut my finger, just a cut, and I had to go I had to give blood and take a breathalyzer test. So, I mean, I understand the purpose of them. I don't think, and I've understood it every single time that it's been said by Councilor Davila that this is not to remove, his intention is not to remove, but rather to censure. However, I'm going to have to agree with everyone else on this issue for different reasons, for some of the same reasons and some different. But I think that making this type of thing public is a very dangerous slope for, I mean, if somebody up here had a drug or alcohol, or someone in the future had a drug or alcohol issue, to have their personal lives dragged out into the public instead of being dealt with privately, I would have a huge issue with that. But I would have to say that I'm against this particular issue.
Thank you, Lisa. Steve?
Well, like Jacob said, the companies have drug screen programs for insurance purposes. None of us here have the public safety in our hands with our jobs, so that's not relevant. I get drug tested all the time at work, and everybody's entitled to some privacy, and I'm totally against this. I can't see any merit for even doing it.
That being said, although I disagree with it, I would gladly comply. And Isaac, if you're willing to pay for everybody here to be drug tested, I'd be willing to take one.
Motion to make Isaac pay for all of our drug screens every council meeting and alcohol test.
I will second the motion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed indicate by saying no.
I want to amend it. If I select the person, I'll pay for it. If I can select
No, it will have to be applied fairly across the board to everybody.
Okay, well,
You will finance it.
give me some numbers. I'll vote for it.
I don't know what the numbers are. Whatever they are, it's okay. So if you're in favor of drug testing with Isaac paying for it,
Bill, I'd like to say something. First of all, to get a drug screen, we're going to be taking our time out to go to these places, and
no, it would have to be done here prior to a meeting.
Yeah, like they could come collect them here at City Hall.
Right, prior to a meeting.
Because you can sit in those places for 2-3 hours at a time.
Right. So,
I pick
Richard,
the date, though. If we do this, I'll pick the date.
It's going to be at our
It has to be every meeting.
It's going to be a meeting.
Richard,
That's not a random
restate your
test.
motion.
That's not
please.
a random test, like the policy calls for.
Restate your motion.
Motion to take drug and alcohol testing before every council meeting, providing Isaac Davila pay for it, but he must deposit the money ahead of time.
All right. All right. There's a motion by Councilor Olson, seconded by Councilor De Gregorio.
I have some questions about this.
All right. All right. We're going to kind of be unconventional here. We're going to answer Lisa's question.
That was my question: is can he be compelled to do that?
No.
I don't think
We're just going to go
legally he
forward.
can.
We're just going to go forward and make a mockery of all of
Well,
this.
you're taking
and
a
act like
serious
children.
subject. You're taking a serious subject, and you're just making a mockery. You're making fun of it. It's just ridiculous.
Children.
You just got told all night that none of this is enforceable. Nothing is.
But he's never said that he wants to remove anyone from office, but every single one of you keep
Mayor,
on expounding upon.
I'm willing to take the test. Isaac will have to pay for it. It should be applied equally and fairly to all of us. And you should do it before each meeting. That's what his suggestion is.
I am not agreeing to pay for all y'all's tests before every meeting.
Well, then you'll have to vote against the motion. So the motion.
Well, you can't make me pay for these tests. I know you're trying to make a point, but it's ridiculous, and
That'll be on you. The motion by Councilor Olson is that we be tested before each meeting, all of us, and that it be at your expense. That's the second. Is your second still hold, Steve? Steve, does your second still hold? Does your second still hold, sir? Yes. All right. All those in favor of Richard's motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. If you're opposed, indicate by saying no.
No.
All right. 4 ayes and 3 noes. Do you have for the record? Kevin. All right.
good luck collecting this. I get $200 a month.
Well, you brought it up, sir. All right. If there's no other discussion on this, we will adjourn.